The single mom syndrome, aka give me a free handout. I am honestly sick to death of seeing this BS on the internet saying, well, I'm a single mom. And there's even a Facebook group about shaming single moms who are asking for items for free because they are SMs, single moms. I'm gonna let you know my truth. And I was a single mom. I received single mom status when I got divorced, and my girls were about 9 and 10 years old. And I'll tell you what, I was never afforded the luxury of pulling the single mom card. Never, not once. I didn't even know I could. I am so glad, and I'm going to read my notes. I thank God no one enabled me to head in that direction and told me I could use that for a paycheck. I lived within my means and bought what I could afford. I don't remember when my children were little and I was working part time, even when I was married. I don't remember going to the salon, getting my nails done. It wasn't in the budget. Why? Because I had children, because they had to eat, because they needed clothes, because they were going to school, because it wasn't a priority. My children were my priority, and that was that. As I kept writing, I said, I was my own welfare. I was working a part time job when I got divorced, and my then husband, my daughter's father, he was giving me out of his paycheck $400 every other week, which went towards the mortgage and the child support. And then to me, I was making $8 an hour working part time as a bank teller. And so I wasn't making much, but I was able to be home with my girls before and after school. But then I go to the bank one day and the account is closed, and I reach out to him. I remember I was at St. Francis Bank on 93rd and Greenfield in West Dallas, Wisconsin. Now, this is way back in 1999, 2000 ish. So I messaged him. I went behind the teller line. I called him from the phone at work. And I said, what happened to the account? He said, I closed the account. My lawyer said, I will be paying you $200 a month until we get divorced. And I said, okay. Well, I started crying. I didn't know what to do. So I went and talked to my boss. I said, I need to work full time. I had to go work full time, making like $8.50 an hour. But I got it. I told my boss I need to do this. And so anyways, that's the direction I went. I'm going to continue to refer to my notes as usual. And after that, I lived within my means. Our mortgage was about $700 a month. And then of course I had my car payment, and I worked and I did what I could. And then after that I worked really hard and I opened doors for myself. I went from being a bank teller to a loan processor, making $10 an hour, was then given $12 an hour because I worked really hard. And after that, because I had so much experience in the mortgage loan department, I went from making 24 a year, I don't know the math, to making $37,000 a year underwriting mortgage loans. So I went from being a loan processor to being a mortgage loan underwriter, which then I got like $1,000 a month bonus because we were doing really well back then. And I thought, this is really cool. And then I made a ton of money, and then I was getting my $150 a week in child support. I was doing really well, and I was really excited. So I eventually worked my way up. I didn't have a college degree, but I had my hard work and experience, so I was able to work my way up. And I just did it. Did I have help from family? Well, not my mom, but my dad once in a while would throw me $50, but it was not often. And that's just what happened. That's just what I did. So I said to myself, why is the government allowing able-bodied people to rely on assistance to get through? I said the government instead should show able-bodied people a source of work which will allow them to make more money instead of giving them handouts and making them more reliant on the government. To give people a roadmap and say you don't have a choice. This is you're getting this much in assistance regardless of how many children you have. This is what you get in assistance. You have to work within your means. And that's all there is to it. And be realistic about what you give, but also say this is it. And if you want more money, you have to go make more money. There are jobs out there that will pay you more. But you have to work hard. You have to show up. You have to be a dedicated employee. You have to do shit jobs sometimes. You have to sometimes eat crow. You have to suck it up. But you have to do what you have to do to feed your kids. Why? Because they're your kids. They're nobody else's children. You're responsible for them. Even if you don't get child support, you have to. What do you do? Okay, so other than working, you can do DoorDash. You can sell on eBay. There's a lot of things you can do in your spare time. You can offer to help a neighbor. Be dedicated and hardworking. And most important, show your children what hard work will do for you. I talked to a little girl the other day. I said, you have two paths in life. This path will lead you here, but this path will allow you freedoms in your life. The freedom to go on vacation, to buy a car, to get a game you want, to go out to eat. That's just the way it is. So there's two paths you could take: the path of least resistance, you'll stand in line for handouts, or you can work hard and have benefits in life. Healthcare. I mean, how important is that, especially when you have kids? So anyways, that's all I wanted to say. I hope this helps someone else, and I'll be back.